Today in the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, we are going to be talking about Bayley and why was Bayley pulled for WrestleMania. That is something no one is talking about, and they're very quiet about this. But I'm going to give you my thoughts and my everything that I feel that should have happened and whatever. We also going to be talking about the Joe Hendry situation that he went to, to WrestleMania, and he got pinned within 3 minutes. We're going to be talking about that and much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to another episode, guys, of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. This is episode 242, and we're going to be talking about a situation that I feel like a lot of people are not talking about. So WrestleMania was last weekend, and a lot of people are not talking about two things, especially the podcasters that ran and rave about WWE. And every time there's something wrong that they see on WWE, they hide and they don't speak about it. And they choose to turn their back on it like it never happened. But I, for one, is the one that when I look at things, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be in New Japan, it could be in AEW, it could be MLW, it could be anywhere. And if I see something wrong in a situation, an event, I'm going to question it. And the first one we're going to be talking about is the Bayley situation. Now, Bayley supposedly was pulled for WrestleMania 41. She was supposed to team up with Lyra Valkyria to go against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the women's tag team title. Now, somewhere in Saturday, I believe it was Saturday or Sunday, one of those matches, they made it look like she got jumped in the back and she got beat up, and she was taken out of WrestleMania. Now, I don't know what's going on with WWE. I don't know if a contract is coming up and she is not thinking of signing. But this situation has gotten like nobody knew why she got pulled up. A lot of the females roster was very sad because she's well respected in the back and whatnot. She got replaced by Becky Lynch. Now, it's crazy because to me, I was like, wait a minute, Becky Lynch. She came back. They replaced Bayley with Becky Lynch. Now, my thing is Seth Rollins just turned heel on night one in the three-way. And when I enjoy Paul Heyman, and as Paul Heyman turned on Roman Reigns and CM Punk and whatnot. But I always felt that Seth Rollins has always been a tweener. The guy's a fan favorite. He's a bad guy. He gets a lot of good reactions from the crowd. So when I saw Bayley coming back, I said to myself, wait a minute. She's back. You replace Bayley, and I saw Becky Lynch coming back. That's what I meant to say. I think I said Bayley, but Becky Lynch came back. I was like, this don't make no fucking sense, right? And second of all, this is something that I said to Big Mike 27 when we did the podcast 2 Thursdays ago, when I said I don't see Lyra Valkyria winning another title and be walking around with 2 belts, and they actually did, which I was surprised. So I said, wait a minute. Did Becky Lynch just got a Charlotte Flair treatment? Because she's the first one always complaining about how Charlotte Flair comes back and they give her the belt. So they just did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Michael from Kicking Out at 2. All right, guy, what's going on? She says she's a year and a half left in her contract, and I knew about being pulled at least a couple of weeks before WrestleMania. And the question is, where? Not for nothing, but where this information came from? Because it didn't come out from Fightful Select. It didn't come out from, Dave Meltzer. Nothing. She just got pulled out. Boom! Right the day off. So that's my thing. So I'm not doubting you, Michael. I don't know. I'm not saying where you get your info from. She was getting pulled out. I don't know why, but there was a report that came by. Okay, that they said that Becky Lynch, I don't know how accurate this report is. Like I say, I'm just reporting what I heard and what I read this week. They were saying that Becky Lynch was the one who came up with the idea that she was going to replace Bayley. Again, I don't understand if whoever the interview she did with CBV, whatever is, I don't make no sense. Then if you're going to be pulled out of WrestleMania, why even continue doing the storyline leading to the week, which makes no damn sense. It doesn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be realistic. WWE right now is a lot. WrestleMania this year was nothing compared to the WrestleMania from last year, especially night one. Night one was horrible. If it wasn't for the three-way, WrestleMania would not been good night one. And I said this on my show last week. Okay. Then I followed that up with the thing with The Rock and whatnot, where The Rock didn't show up at night two either. And we got that horrible ending with John Cena and, with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to me, is she leaving? I mean, because this, after all this, everybody was saying that there's exit that she may be leaving. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like she gets the Mercedes Moné treatment. And what people don't understand is Mercedes Moné and Bayley are very, very close friends and whatnot. Now, I'm not saying that Bayley's going to end up at AEW. I don't think she'll fit in AEW. But if this continues, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. When she was the champion last year, I think she beat Io Sky last WrestleMania. By the way, they put her against Nia Jax. Nia Jax, I don't think that woman deserves that. That woman is just a botch queen. She hurts people. I don't think she deserves the world title. Now she's again in the world title picture now and about to start a feud with Tiffany Stratton, when this should have been the first person who she should have fought at WrestleMania instead of Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Charlotte didn't win the belt for the simple fact because she got punished for the bullcrap that happened between them two on the promo. By the way, I'm live, so we're live, and I'm gonna make mistakes in here, so don't care. My platform. But again, I don't know. I didn't see the interview with CVV. I didn't see the I mean, how many people did see the interview? Because everybody was talking about that. Why she got taken out of WrestleMania? Why she was taken out? A lot of people questioned that. So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how far this is going, with her, but we'll see. Hopefully she'll get back. Maybe she'll start feuding again, maybe with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch probably is going to end up being Lia Valkyria for the Intercontinental belt for the simple fact Lia Valkyria beat Becky Lynch, if I'm correct, for the NXT belt. If I'm correct, because I don't follow NXT. I remember, I think she beat Becky Lynch for the belt. So the way WWE does it, most of the company does it. If you beat that person for the belt, and the next time they wrestle, probably you'll take the belt. So the way I'm looking at it, maybe Valkyria is going to lose that belt against Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch right now just turned heel. She turned on her. She won the belt Sunday. By Monday, she was already beating up Lia Valkyria. And not only that, the way they did it is like, it was stupid. The girl got beat up, got pushed, and she was just getting up, but why with this look? I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? This Monday night they passed. They lost the belts and whatnot right away. They didn't make no sense to put the belts on them to begin with, if that was the case. You know what I'm saying? That make no sense. What's the whole point of this whole storyline with the tag team belts when get the belt in WrestleMania? And this is all, they did all this bullshit for WrestleMania moments. That's what they did. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna bring you up another one that they did it for a WrestleMania moment, which I mean, to me, it doesn't, for a WrestleMania moment, doesn't make no damn sense. And what I'm talking about was what happened on Sunday when Randy Orton didn't have an opponent, and out of nowhere came out the TNA World Champion, Hendry. Okay. Now, when I saw this, I said, oh, wow. a TNA World Champion coming out at WrestleMania. Oh, wow, this is great. I felt like, wow, they really helping TNA and put them in the map. I mean, they've been around, but helping them out and putting their world champion on WrestleMania. What they did was, and listen, I know when I saw this, I got on Circle of Debate, watch along and whatnot, and I asked them, what do you think about Joe Hendry getting pinned less than 5 minutes by Randy Orton? One of them said, well, you know what? It's a good rub because he was in the ring with Randy Orton. I respect that. I respect what he said. I respect all the guys at Circle of Debate. If you guys check them out, they are very good at what they do. But what I kind of disagree is, if you're going to put the TNA World Champion from TNA to go in the ring with, of course, a legend like Randy Orton, you cannot have your World Champion from TNA get pinned 3 minutes and 12 seconds. He made a mockery of himself. He was still playing his character in the ring and not paying no attention to Randy Orton, knowing that Randy Orton could catch you out of nowhere with the RKO. He gets pinned 3 minutes and 12 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. It was dumb. The easier ways. This is I guess he's going back to the Becky situation. Michael said it was dumb. The easiest story from here is Becky ends up being who attacked Bayley. Becky beats Valkyria for the belt, and Bayley comes back for revenge, and then we make an IC belt a big deal. I mean, the IC belt for the woman is still a big deal. I mean, for what it is, but it didn't make sense to me. As far as her not defending the belt at WrestleMania. So I'll get back to that real quick. But going back to this Joe Hendry thing. So the guys on the Secret Debate told me, well, he's in the ring with Randy Orton. And him losing to Randy Orton is not a bad thing. Yes, it's not a bad thing because you're in there with a legend of Randy Orton, I think a 14-time world champion. But 3 minutes and 12 seconds, the TNA world champion. I want you to understand what I'm trying to tell you. The TNA world champion got pinned by Randy Orton 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I thought it was 5 minutes, but he got pinned 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So how does this help TNA? Can somebody please explain to me how this helps TNA? If anything, they make TNA Impact Wrestling or whatever you want to call TNA Wrestling look weak. The day world champion came to WrestleMania into the WWE event and lost in 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Somebody explain this one to me. Because right now, I can't even watch TNA anymore. I lost total respect for them allowing their champion to go into the ring at WrestleMania and whatnot and lose to Randy Orton in 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Imagine if the title was on the line. It would have been even worse. But the fact that he showed up at WrestleMania and lose to Randy Orton 3 minutes and 12 seconds, well, not even 10 minutes. At least you should have gave him at least 12 minutes. If you would have given him at least a 12-minute match, then you would have, okay, it was worth it. It was 12 minutes. Joe Hendry didn't do shit. All he did was doing his gimmick. People, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe Joe Hendry should have been TNA World Champion to begin with. And I've been saying this for a long time. Joe Hendry is not a world champion caliber wrestler. He's a mid-card wrestler. I've been saying this shit before he even won the TNA world title. It took him 5 opportunities for him to win the TNA world title. It was Jey Uso all over again from night one. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way in the world anybody could justify this to me, okay? Because it makes Joe Hendry look bad. It does make him look bad. Yeah, he went in the ring and rubbed those elbows and got into the room with a legend. But how does this help him? How does this help TNA Wrestling? TNA Wrestling went in bed with WWE. You tell me how they gotten better. They haven't gotten better. Moose lost to Abba Faye, whatever his name is, from NXT at Madison Square Garden Theater. Okay? Moose is a big dude, but we knew that TNA wrestler was not going to be an NXT or WWE wrestler. That was not going to happen. WWE is not going to allow that to happen. We've seen this before and whatnot. So how in the hell does anybody justify this? Everybody thinks, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. I always say Joe Hendry is not a world champion. Look, I've been following Joe Hendry when he first stepped in Ring of Honor. And back then, he was a mid-card wrestler. And if he was so good with his gimmick, whatever, you think AEW would have got him in by now? You know what I'm saying? But he chose to go to TNA. The TNA right now, they don't know what the hell they doing. You know what I'm saying? They fired Gail Kim this year. They let go or Scott D'Amore last year. They don't know what the hell they doing. They in bed with the devil. I'm sorry to call it WWE the devil, but they are the devil. It's just a matter of time before they buy them. They already bought AAA. Conan went to bed with the devil. The whole Perez family who owned AAA went in bed with the devil. Now AAA is not going to be no longer around. It's going to be called NXT Mexico. Even though Bradford John Layfield said that WWE shouldn't change AAA to NXT Mexico, but you think they're going to listen to him? They're going to change it to NXT Mexico. Okay? There was a lot of things that happened last weekend with WrestleMania and how things went. Okay? And I could go back to the first match of WrestleMania Night 1. They gave the belt to Jey Uso because of WrestleMania moments. Not because it didn't make no sense. It didn't make no sense that Jey Uso, okay, he won the Rumble. He gets a title shot. But it was his 5th time. And finally he gets the title. All because WWE is lazy or creating a wrestler that the fan could go behind. Not because they're selling shirts, but because they really like him. WWE has not bothered with that. People talking about Hunter, Triple H is cooking. Triple H ain't cooking shit. If he was cooking, that means night 2, the last match with Cena and Rhodes, which he was the last guy who was supposed to have the ending of it, should have ended better than when it ended. So when I hear that, oh, Triple H is cooking, okay. And the first thing when you talk about the Triple H is not cooking, they want to go right into AEW or AEW 6, AEW this. We're not talking about AEW. We're talking about WWE. They failed, they dropped, they fumbled the ball at WrestleMania. Okay? Because night 2 was better. It's a little better. Okay? And the only thing they say night 1 was a triple threat. And the Jacob Fatu against LA Knight was pretty good. The rest of the card from night 1 sucked. I don't care what anybody. Jey Uso winning the title was not convincing to me. And now their way of getting back into that situation, what they're doing is now they have they suspended Gunther because he choked out Pat McAfee and whatnot. Why is Pat McAfee right now feuding with Gunther? Oh, I know why. Because Goldberg is going to come in and help save the day. That's what's going to happen. And if you think I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. Okay? Because if you guys remember, I think it was in Berlin, Goldberg was in the stand in the front, and where Gunther was challenging him, and he was going to step in the ring, and they stopped it. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Pat McAfee's not going in the ring with Gunther. You crazy? Gunther will kill him, but Goldberg will, and Goldberg's going to have his match, and Gunther's going to lose to Goldberg because that's going to be Goldberg's last match. This is what's going to happen. But that goes to show you, at WWE cooking, Triple H is cooking. No, they love the nostalgia. They love bragging how many people are in the stand. They love this and this. They always, but when it comes to situations like this, with the Bayley taking her out, but I don't understand why they did that. You know what I'm saying? And like Mike from Kicking Out at 2 says that she did the interview. She said she was going to be pulled out. Why continue with the storyline all the way to the ending of all the way to night 1 of WrestleMania, showing her getting jumped in the back? And why was she taking time off? Is she injured? You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't want you guys to think that I hate WWE, because I don't hate WWE. I watch WWE. I wish it was better. Now I'm hearing that Karrion Kross, his promo, oh no, it was approved by WWE. No, it wasn't. Everybody thinks that a WWE wrestler cannot show his frustration in a podcast for whatever reason and whatnot, or got to prove. Because in reality, Karrion Kross has been with WWE for almost 5 years, and they haven't done shit with him. He won the NXT title, and when they brought him up for a match at the main roster, he lost to Jeff Hardy in 3 minutes. Wow. He was the NXT champion. Now, you're going to come and tell me, oh, that was the Vince McMahon era. It doesn't matter. He's been under the Triple H era for already 2 years, and nothing has been done with him. They had him in this stupid group, I don't know, satanic bullshit. Even Kevin Sullivan came out at one point. They haven't done shit with Karrion Kross. Now, there was word they're going to have him team up with AJ Styles, which will be a nice little tag team, but for what? They're not going to win the titles. They're not going to win the tag team titles. They're not beating the Street Profit, because Street Profits are right now hot as far as, in the crowd being behind them. So they're going to go after New Day. New Day should have never won the tag team belts to begin with. That's the way I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they go back to the same card. Oh, let me pull this card out and let's do this and bring the same shit. It's like playing the video game. They're playing WWE at 25K, whatever it's called now. You can go back to the storylines, but it's not different characters. It's still the same shit. So, I mean, a lot of people may not agree with what I'm just saying, but all you gotta do is just look at the whole fucking, go to Monday Night Raw and watch this on Netflix, and you see everything I'm talking about. But the way I'm looking at it now, as far as the Bayley situation, like Michael from kicking out Atu said, most likely that's exactly what they're going to do. And I have showed that Becky was behind the attack of Bayley. Becky's going to be Valkyria for the belt, and then Bayley's going to come back for revenge, and then she'll probably win the IC belt for the woman, and then she'll be a Grand Slam champion because she has won almost every belt. Same way I think could be done by Becky, because everything now is about, the Grand Slam, whatever. Not, it's the changing of the guards is just ridiculous. I mean, if you look at the women's division, it's always the same people winning the belts. You know what I'm saying? Raquel Rodriguez won tag team belts, I think, a couple of times, where Liv Morgan 3 times, I believe, but never won a single title. You know what I'm saying? To believe she was the NXT champion, but I don't count the NXT. As hard as it is for people to be like, no, but you have to count it. NXT, they consider that development banner. I mean, even though they got guys who've been wrestling for years, but to them, this is only a developmental. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Brian Pillman Jr. How long he's been there already? And he ain't done shit. On the Heritage Cup? Who the fuck gives about the Heritage Cup? Do you? I don't. That's not even a championship. And when by the time he comes up, he's going to be a mid-card wrestler. He ain't going to be. I doubt if he ever makes it to the main roster. He's been in NXT for almost 2 or 3 years. I see Ethan Page coming up. I see what's his name? Ricky Saints, aka Ricky Stark, coming up. Those people will come up. Look at Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee has been WWE for what, 2 years? And what did it? He signed for what? They ain't doing shit. My man's getting beat up by a guy who's calling himself the Grande Americano, which is Chad Gable, and he's getting beaten. They don't care. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They bought AAA to get control of the Mexican wrestlers and whatnot, because they don't want AEW messing with other wrestling Mexican promotions. They already messed around with AAA, and they got rid of them because of Conan. Conan was the one who was behind all that selling stuff. I mean, the night of WrestleMania 1, when they made the announcement that AAA was bought, who was the first one on X talking crap? Part 3 of the Revenge Tour is coming. What? Dude, just shut up. That's it. You're just a bitter guy. Now I want to see what they're going to do with you. They're going to kick you out, and you're going to be out there doing your Conan podcast and get upset and bitter like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? At least Eric Bischoff has slowed down, because he saw that all that negativity he was doing to AEW did not work. AEW still surpassed as the longest show on TBS past Monday Nitro. Now he humbled himself. And now he's one of the guys really talking about this whole thing with WrestleMania, especially with The Rock. Well, I went through it this week. You can go check it out on my my YouTube. You know, I'm not even going to talk about the Rock situation, but like it's again, this whole situation with the Bayley being pulled, Joe Hendry getting pinned at 3 minutes and 12 seconds, the TNA World Champion, and nobody thinks this is nothing wrong with this, but I do. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you think. Give me your feedback. Give me your comments and let me know what you think about this whole situation. Do you think that Bayley pull was part of it and she's not going in? I don't see her leaving nowhere. And especially if Mike was telling me she still got a year and a half left in her contract, and so she's not going nowhere. And even if her contract ends, then she can't go nowhere. And let's say she leaves, it's 90-day contract, so she ain't going nowhere. And she's not going to AEW. So people just need to just get that shit out of their head, because as soon as they start talking about Bayley leaving, there was already a graphic of Bayley All Elite, because these fans have got nothing better to do. You know what I'm saying? Just spreading false rumors, false information. And that's what I say is, reports that are saying that she may be she probably going to leave, which I don't believe anything until I see, because I let the story have some legs on it. Then if I see something else weird differently, that I'm like, well, you know what? Now it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But all I heard was that Bayley was sticking out, and that Becky Lynch was behind the thing where she was, I guess, went to the back and said, I'll take her place. Now, I don't know if they were still trying to figure out who they were going to replace Bayley with. They made it seem like she was behind the scene doing some political bullshit. I don't know. Don't know. As far as Joe Hendry is concerned, he could walk around with that belt, the TNA World Title. To me, he's not a world champion. That belt don't mean shit to me. After you getting pinned 3 minutes and 12 seconds in WrestleMania by Randy Orton, you should have given him at least 10 to 12 minute match, and they gave him only 1/4 of that to get pinned 3 minutes and 12 seconds. He didn't do shit. He didn't do nothing. What they do? Play to the crowd and got RKO not once, twice. That's the crazy part. He got RKO, got being, and then Randy Orton went and pick him up, whatever, and then RKO him again to embarrass him. It was an embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? And again, respect to Circle of Debate, because I remember as soon as I saw that, I got on the guy's podcast on their watch along, and I asked them what they thought about. One of them told me, well, it's a little rub for him because he was in the ring with Randy Orton, which I agree. But other members in that watch along said, well, it doesn't look good for TNA. And it's true. TNA has this deal with WWE, and they're not looking good at nothing there. And I think Joe Hendry, first appearance at NXT, he got taken out by Frank Kazarian within seconds. So to show you where, he thinks, oh, it was great, I had a good time. Well, I could see him, once his contract is over, TNA going to WWE, and they're not going to do shit with him. I can see it. I mean, all you got to do is look at Karrion Kross, 5 years. They haven't done nothing with him. Nothing at all, which is crazy, because you would think, with that man, the way he is, I think his only good few he had was with Drew McIntyre and whatnot. Other than that, he hasn't done anything. You know what I'm saying? Again, he had a group. They looked like they were gonna have a feud with the Wyatt family, and they ended up doing, I don't know what. It's just, and they lost track of it. And Karrion Kross is a great wrestler. I've been following Karrion Kross since, when he was known as Killer Kross at TNA. And TNA didn't want to pay him. They were telling him to go wrestle independent if the TNA was not having no show. So I go to show TNA doesn't respect anybody. So, I mean, and the minute they get a ex-WWE wrestler, they push him to the end, they give him the world title, and then they take it away 2 months later. I mean, it's the same with TNA. Got the same roster. They got Sami Callihan still doing the same shit, doing these hardcore matches. Don't mean nothing. Mance Warner, another guy, was an MLW. That's all he does is, hardcore matches in TNA and GCW. So there you go. So that is it for me today, guys. I want to thank everybody who's online. Hit that thumbs up, guys. Hit that thumbs up, and help the channel up. You know what I'm saying? Also, sub to the channel if you have not done so. If you have missed any of our content, hit that notification bell for new uploads. Hit that thumbs up. That thumbs up helps a lot, the channel and whatnot. So I want to thank everybody who was online. A shout out to Kicking Out at 2, who came to the channel to watch my show today. Also, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, the X, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, check out my podcast store where we got hoods, shirts, hats at TCWR, veryimpressive.com. Again, that's TCWR.veryimpressive.com. And we got, like I said, shirts, hoodies, hats. So you go check it out and help support the podcast. Until then, guys, I will see you guys next week with more of wrestling and news with all these crazy stuff. Let's see what happens with this Bayley stuff. And we'll follow up with this whole Joe Hendry, and we're going to have more. So until then, guys, be safe, and I'll see you guys soon.